Welcome to the Work From Home Millspo Movement podcast, a place where we are meeting military spouses where they are at and providing real solutions to military spouse employment. My name is Lauren Lonsdale, and I am a 16-year Marine Corps spouse. I'm the owner of a creative marketing firm and the instructor behind the Work From Home Millspo courses, which teach military spouses skills to become creative marketing virtual assistants. I am here to provide insight into creating and growing your work from home career, either as a military spouse creative marketing assistant, entrepreneur, or remote employee. Join us as we create a movement towards better solutions for military spouse employment, combat financial insecurities for military families, and work to increase service member retention by helping increase the betterment of military spouse and military family mental health. Hey everyone, Lauren the Work From Home Millspo here, and welcome to another episode of the Work From Home Millspo Movement podcast. Today we are, if you can see behind me, if you are watching this in video form, today we are talking about a very on topic about working from home with kids. So behind me, my daughter's eating her breakfast. Say hi, Annabeth. She's eating her breakfast, and this is my life. This is what I do every day. I work from home full time. Right now it's summer break, so kids are home, and during the school year, they're at school for most of the day, but I do still work from home. I'm here whenever they're sick. I'm here when school is closed for a holiday. And this is how, we kind of run our lives. So we're stationed here in Okinawa. Our house is pretty small. So my office is in my dining space. It is in the central living space of my entire house, which means I have to set quite a few boundaries with my kids and with my family about my work time in order to be as productive as possible. And things have changed over the years. When I had babies, it wasn't like this. I wasn't leaving them to their own devices and letting, me working and they were on their own. Now that they're a little bit older, I have 3 girls. They're 12, 9, and 8. They are self-sufficient in a lot of ways, and autonomous in their play. So I don't have to be on top of everything all the time, but I still do have to set certain boundaries during my workday. And that's all about what this episode is about. So the beauty of being a creative marketing virtual assistant as a military spouse, or even just as a mom, is that it doesn't require childcare. Childcare is really, really expensive and really difficult to find, much less find every single time you move. So every single time you PCS to a new duty station, if you are not dual military and you don't have a steady job like a regular W-2 position, you are bumped down the list for the CDC for childcare. So that makes it really, really difficult to find on-base childcare that's affordable, somewhat affordable. That's even a stretch. But it's also really difficult to find childcare out in town. 1, you are trusting people that you don't know with your kids. And 2, it's insanely expensive. So, in terms of the opportunities that military spouses have, or that the military as a whole organization provides military spouses for remote work through Hiring Our Heroes or some of these other programs, although they are great, they're not meeting military spouses where they're at, because most military spouses don't want or cannot afford or cannot find adequate childcare. We need to work because we have low income and food insecurities and financial insecurities. We need the income, but we can't work and pay for our kids to go to daycare. It doesn't make financial sense, and it doesn't even just make logistical sense for military spouses. So having kids at home is a reality for many of us who are in this creative marketing space, but it's also the reality for a lot of military spouses looking for remote work. They need something that doesn't require childcare. But how do you set those boundaries, and how do you set your schedule as a work from home mom who also has kids at home? Because push comes to shove, yes, you can do it with kids at home, but it's a heck of a lot easier when they're not here. So how do we set those boundaries so that we can get the things done that we need to get done for our work, while also still being present and still being available to our kids? It takes time. It takes some trial and error, but I'm going to give you some things that we do here at our house that maybe can help you. So my schedule from when I had babies, when my kids were little, to now has changed drastically. So I'm going to give you kind of two different versions of how this works, depending on what stage you are in your life. So stage one kind of is when you have itty bitty kids, right? You have babies, you have toddlers, you have kids that are not able to go to the bathroom by themselves, all of those things. Your schedule and your time is going to look a lot different because you have to be more hands-on with your kids. So what it looked like for me when I had little itty bitty kids in the house, my daughter doing, what are you doing? Your shirt like that. When I had little itty bitty kids in the house, was I would wake up super early in the morning to get some work done. I would wake up about 5 a.m. and I would work until about 7. And then I would do a little bit of work here and there. As they became toddlers, I was able to do more work while they played autonomously. And then I would work during nap times and things like that. I didn't work a whole lot. It was probably 3, maybe 4 hours a day if I was lucky. It wasn't working full time by any means whatsoever. A lot of people, their kids wake up really early, so that might not work for you. Maybe you need to work in the evenings. I have virtual assistants that work after 8, 9 p.m. and they work at night. They might work weekends. They might work full time and then add on some VA stuff at the end of the day or weekends as well. Those are all different options for you. But when you have itty bitty babies and you're a stay at home mom, you are going to have to find those like little pockets of time to get things done. And so you may not be working full time or even close to part time, but you are earning a little bit of extra income for your family. I have to tell you, the first time I got paid for the work I was doing, I started out as a freelance writer. I started out not getting paid at all. I really started writing because I was a new stay-at-home mom. I felt like I was losing my identity as who I was as Lauren. I was just so-and-so's mom and so-and-so's wife. And it really was difficult for me. My own mental health was just not in the space I wanted it to be. And I felt like I needed to do something for me. So I started freelance writing very occasionally, not even every single day, but once, maybe twice a week. I wasn't getting paid for it. So the first time I got that first payment, which was only $30, it was like so exciting for me, even though it's not life-changing money. I was like, I can, put this towards groceries, or I can go out to Starbucks and not feel guilty about it. I can do something with this money. It just felt really good to be able to contribute to the family, even a little bit, and just have a little bit of that extra spending money that we could utilize for whatever we needed or wanted. And that was such an amazing feeling. So at the very beginning, I wasn't, sorry, Anna. So if you have little itty bitties at home, you'll probably find that you're not working all the time if you're being a creative marketing virtual assistant without some sort of childcare. It's really just very difficult. I spent my early days sitting at my desk holding a baby, nursing, and typing with one hand. It is possible to do some of these things, but your own mental health is important too. And if you start to feel like you're overwhelmed being mom and trying to work, mom is more important. So default to being mom and take a step back from taking on some of these clients and tasks and focus on being mom till you get to a season or a month even. It's always changing with babies, with nap schedules and, teething and all these, growth spurts, all these different things that happen when you've got itty bitties at home that default to being mom. And that's one thing I struggled with, is that I'm an Enneagram 3. I thrive on productivity. I thrive on checking things off my to-do list. And when I was working and being mom, when I wasn't getting my to-do list done, it was like really painful for me. Like physically, I felt anxious and I didn't like it. And it took me a long time to realize, like, I have to actually take these things off my plate and either completely remove them from my to-do list or take a step back from working so that I can focus on my kids and not have these things looming in my head. And so for a long time, for the first probably 5 or so years that I was working, I was not working a lot. It was just a couple hours here and there, no tons of time being spent, in the office, so to speak. But then as time went on, my kids got a little bit older. They could play by themselves a little bit more. That's when I found myself really starting to start honing my skills as a creative marketing virtual assistant and freelance writer, and really just starting to take it seriously. So now that my kids are in school full time, I work while they're at school, and now we're really busy with our different businesses. And so I actually do work when they're home from school as well. But for the past, I guess, 3 or 4 years before this, I really would stop working once my kids got home from school. I might finish up some emails or something once they got home. But once they were home, I was back to mom mode. And that's what I'm trying to get back to now. We just have a rapidly growing business that work is taking more out of my day than I originally intended. And so we're making some of these changes and growing pains and scaling the best we can to get back to that point where I'm only working while the kids are at school. But it gets a little bit easier once your kids are at school. If you decide to homeschool, of course, that's a whole new ballgame. We homeschooled very briefly during COVID, but I stopped working. I made the decision to just completely cut off work because it was important to me to focus on the kids while they were being homeschooled, and we had an upcoming PCS. So homeschooling, you have your school time, which, depending on how long it takes you, a couple hours during the day, and then you have other times where you could sit down and work. And it may be that you work early in the morning, late at night, just depends on your family and your family's needs. But that's a great thing about being a creative marketing virtual assistant, is that you can flex to the needs of your family in the season of your life. You can work a very little bit, or you can work a ton, or you can take, you can work early in the morning or late at night or weekends during nap time, whenever works for you. And that's one of the biggest benefits about having a career in this space, is that it is super, super flexible with your hours. Okay, but how do you work with kids at home? And this, of course, depends on your family and your family dynamic. But some of the boundaries we have here at home are pretty consistent, but also flexible, because they have to be, right? So things happen as a mom. My kids have different things going on, or they're sick, or they're home from school, or whatever the case may be. But we have certain boundaries and certain routines that we keep in place to make things running as smoothly as possible and as consistent as possible, to make sure we all kind of have our routine and we all kind of know what's going on. And it makes it a little bit easier to get things done during the day. So the next part of this episode really is going to apply to those who have a little bit older kids home from school for summer break, home from school for other, breaks off, or things, like that. Part is really going to be for those who have kids who are a little bit older, because it is very difficult to create a consistent routine when you have varying schedules with babies and toddlers, and you really are working in the pockets of time. So I'll get into that a little bit as a broad scope of setting family boundaries. But in terms of a daily schedule, some of the things that we do here at home, especially when my kids are home for summer break, which they are right now, is we have what's called a summer chore list. So the summer task list and a schedule, which just went off, that it's 10 a.m. and it's snack time. So I set this to my alarm. That's one of the tools that I have in my skill set here to set this consistent schedule and boundary. So we'll kind of get into that. That was very appropriate for the timing. But we have a basic summer schedule. So I have a summer chore list that the kids have to complete every day before they get electronics, because as a work from home mom, it's really easy to default to the TV or to the iPad or to something that keeps their attention, right? But I don't want my kids on iPads all day. I don't want them on the TV all day, but I do need them to be autonomous in what they are doing throughout the day, because I am quite busy and I am running several businesses and I have virtual assistants that work for me, and I do need this time to work. So we have kind of, especially during the summer, especially during these consistent days where they're home, a summer chore list. So every day the kids wake up, before they get any electronics, they have to do things like simple things: brush their hair, brush their teeth, make their beds, get dressed, eat breakfast. All of those things are done every day. And then we have some additional things that are done daily, like 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of outside time. They have chore lists to do They have to help someone in the family. They have 20 minutes of reading and writing, or we do kind of like worksheets, math or ELA worksheets as well. And so those are all set out for them in the morning when they wake up. They have their summer chore sheet, which is laminated, and they can check off everything that they do. And then they have their schoolwork for the day, whether it's math or ELA, some sort of review from the past year. And then as the summer goes on, we start to talk about the next year's content. And then we also we also have a chore list of things to help out around the house. So every day I have a different section of the house that I clean. When they're at school, they only have 1 to 2 chores every day. When they're home for summer break, they have multiple chores because they're home all day and they make the house very messy. So during the school year, when they come home, their chores are based on whatever spot I've cleaned in the day. So Mondays is my kitchen day. So they all have something related to the kitchen on Mondays. Tuesdays is bathroom days. So Tuesdays, they all have something related to the bathroom, and so on and so forth. And there's different days that we have different areas of the house that we clean. So today's Thursday. So today's bedroom day. So my kids will be emptying their bedroom trash cans. They'll be taking the sheets off their beds and putting them in the washer. They will dust their room. They'll tidy their spaces, their desks, their dressers. They'll put their clothes away from that was in the laundry yesterday. They'll clean their bedroom floors because we have they're not real hard, but the laminate hardwood flooring. We live on base. They'll clean their floors. So they do all sorts of things within that bedroom space because today's Thursday and today's bedroom day. So that's on their chore list as well. So they have to complete all of those things before they get their electronics. So that is a known routine. They get up in the morning. They know what they need to do. They know the process. They can pretty much make their own breakfast. I'll stop and make breakfast too for them as well. But they are autonomous for most of the morning because they have a set list of things that they have to accomplish each day. After that, they can ask me if they can get an electronic. Kind of depends on the day. If I'm like, it's way too nice outside, go outside and play for a little bit longer, then they'll go play or they'll go find a friend. We always try and find something else for them to do before we default to the electronics, but those things at a minimum have to be done before they get electronics. And they can do it anytime during the day. They can do it early in the morning and get it all knocked out first. Or if they wake up and they want to build Legos for 2 hours or play with their dolls or go outside for a long time, they can do that first, but they can't get their iPad or the TV until all of those things are done, no matter if they do it at 9 o'clock in the morning or they do it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So this summer list has really helped me, especially during these long breaks, whether it's summer break or Christmas break, to really keep a consistent schedule with the kids while I'm working. They know that I work in this common space of the house. I didn't always. In our last house where we were stationed in Key West, I had my own office. I could close the doors if I needed, which I never did, but I could. And they know I'm in this open space. So if I'm doing something like recording a podcast, they can walk through, but they need to be quiet. They know that I'm working, that I'm not going to, if they say, we want to go to the beach today, we live in Okinawa, I can't just always stop what I'm doing and take them to the beach. So another thing that we have during the summer is that if they want to do something at some point during the week, or they have an idea of something they want to do, they can tell me, hey, we really would like to go to the beach this week, or we'd like to try a new playground, or we want to go get ice cream. Doesn't have to be anything big. We want to go to the pool. If they tell me, hey, we would like to do this, I will schedule time throughout my week to make sure we can do that with them, that we take some time off. And I try to at least once a week take part of the day off so that we can do something together as a family, or just as girls if my husband is working, to kind of invest time in them during the summer break. Not that I'm always working all of the time. So that's kind of how we set our schedule, for these big long summer breaks. I have a work from home mom summer guide that has kind of like our summer checklist, our summer chore list, some example chores, educational YouTube videos once a day that kids can watch, links to some of the workbooks that I use for their math and ELA worksheets. and a whole like summer list. I have a daily schedule of snacks and lunches for the kids. So that's another thing we do. I set my phone alarms to 10 o'clock, noon, and 3 p.m. to remind myself to get up, because I sometimes get so bogged into work that I'm not paying attention to the time, that, I get myself up and I make sure the kids eat a snack and they have their lunches at around noon and they have a snack at 3 p.m. Even if they decide they don't want that, at least I know I take my time to stop, make sure they are offered something to eat, that they're thinking about it, that we're all in a good space, because nobody wants to get hangry. Um, and we have that consistently every single day. So that's really important for us to have as a set schedule and routine as well, is not only having the summer chore list, but also having, set times to eat. But our work from home moms summer guide, or the summer guide for working moms, is basically a daily schedule and list of things for your kids to do. Not only our summer chore list, which you can print out and laminate yourself so the kids can check everything off, but it also has a daily list of chores broken down just like we do here at our house, with Mondays as kitchens, Tuesdays as bathrooms, Wednesdays as living room space, Thursdays bedrooms, Fridays outside areas. And we rotate that through, and there's a list of chores that you can give to your kids based on their ages. We also have a daily schedule for 8 weeks of daily snack ideas for 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock, as well as lunches, because as a working mom, I know how difficult it can be to have another thing added to your mental load. So for you to have that removed and just be like, okay, today I know I'm giving them, and these are simple snacks. These are not like fancy, cut things out, make a whole bunch of fancy things to them. These are simple snacks. It just takes that mental load off of you. So, for example, it could be pretzels and grapes. It could be fruit smoothie and peanut butter toast. It's simple stuff, like not difficult things that you're going to have in your house. I'm not asking you to go to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods to find fancy things, regular stuff, but it takes that mental load off of you. And we also have things like daily educational YouTube videos, where I give a YouTube video that really can apply to a variety of ages. I try to, at least, and it could be something really simple. So social emotional development. It can be math, ELA, science, something, just a simple YouTube video to kind of give you that break of like, hey, here's your YouTube video for the day. It's educational. They're not sitting watching somebody open a toy or whatever they watch. And it gives them a little bit of that technology time without being like face into an iPad. So we have all of that set for you guys. That our summer guide for the working mom is available up on our website at thewfhmillspo.com/shop. You can get that, download it, print it out for yourself, print out the summer chores, the daily schedule, and have that up for your family and for your kids so you can get some work done while you are home with everyone for summer break. So on top of our regular daily schedule during the summer, there's also our school schedule. So, this may not apply to you if you have little kids at home, or if you homeschool. But for our schedule during the school year, it's really important for me, for the kids, that I'm available as mom. So in the mornings, I still wake up at 5 a.m., but I work out early in the morning to get that done before anybody wakes up. And then I get them ready for school. I make their lunches, I make their breakfast, I walk them to school, and we do all the regular mom school stuff. Once I get home from walking them to school, that's my work time. I sit down and I am focused in work, and that is what I'm doing for the next 5 to 6 hours. I also do my daily cleaning during that time. Once they get home from school, I try to take at least 30 minutes to just be mom. I pick them up, I make their snack, we empty their backpacks, we sit down to do homework, and I'm just mom for those 30 to 45 minutes. I don't sit down and work until they're done with their homework and they are moved on to their next thing, playing with friends, whatever it might be. And then being silly. And then I get back to work if I need to. My goal is to get back to a place where I was even last year, where work ended at 3 o'clock and I was done for the day. I'm not there right now, but we are working towards getting back there because it is really important to me to make sure my kids see me as mom, not just as me facing the computer. So it is important to me for my kids to see me working as a woman running my own business. I have 3 girls, so I want them to see that being a mom and being a business owner is accessible and doable. And I want them to explore the idea of being entrepreneurs themselves if that's where they want to go. But it is, I still want to have that time to be mom too. And that's why I went from being a teacher, I have my master's in education, to a job like this because I wanted to be available to my kids. I didn't want to be putting them in daycare so I could go to work. I didn't want to be working all day and then have to request time off if they got sick or not be available to them when they needed me for different events because I had work. I wanted the flexibility of being able to work from home, be home when they were home, especially when they were really little, but also have work for myself that was important to my own self identity. And that's what I found in being a creative marketing virtual assistant. Okay, but on top of daily schedule stuff, summer schedule, school schedule when you have babies at home or toddlers at home, the daily things. There are some boundaries that I had to set with my family. So especially in the beginning, when I was just working little spurts here and there, hours here and there, my work to my husband and to my kids sort of was not really work. It was more a hobby. Not that they said that, oh, this is just a hobby, but it to everyone else felt like it could be flexible. It could be, I could flex to any single thing that anything the family needed, that I didn't have, the idea of deadlines and tasks needing to be done. That was something that I really had to sit down with my family and be like, listen, yes, I'm mom. Yes, I'm wife. Yes, I'm ombudsman or, family readiness officer or whatever volunteer position I held within my husband's command. Yes, I do these things, but I also have priorities for my clients. I also have deadlines. I also have things that need to be done. I can't just not do them and it not be important. There are things that I need to get done. And there were several, I don't want to say difficult, but some come to Jesus type conversations of like, listen, this is important to me. This is work for me. It may not be a lot of work, but it is work. And I need your help in understanding that I can't stop what I'm doing every single second of the day just because. And although I've been doing this for a long time, and my husband actually is part of my business, he's my CFO, my chief financial officer. I have brought him into my business to develop this even further and bring it to a higher level. Although he is a part of my business, it still comes up. It still comes up where I'm the default parent, and I know that. I'm the mom. I'm the one who's home when they're sick. I'm the one who takes them to their appointments. I'm the one who runs most of the daily errands. I manage the house. I am aware of that. I know that. I take on that role and responsibility very happily. But there are times where I am just like so completely overwhelmed. And so this happened just a couple weeks ago where we have here in Japan, we have to do what's called JCI, Japanese Compulsory Insurance. We also do what's called road tax. And we are new to the whole Japanese car insurance system stuff, right? So when we moved here, this was all taken care of by our sponsors. They got our cars for us. They did the JCI, they did the road tax. We didn't have to worry about anything. And nobody really explained to us the process when we had to renew things. So come like the last week of May, we realized that we have to pay road tax for both the cars before the end of May. And we didn't know that. And then we also found out that one of our cars needed JCI, the Japanese Compulsory Insurance, by the 2nd of June. But in order to do our road tax, we had to get JCI done first. So we spent like a week going back and forth between JCI and road tax and getting the car fixed so it could pass the inspection and doing all of these things. And it took days out of my time. On top of that, we also were meeting with the superintendent of schools because were really kind of disappointed in the Dodea school system here. And we were meeting with the superintendent. So that took a bunch of time out of my week as well. So at the end of the week, I had just started a new position. In fact, that Friday, as being the fractional CMO of a company here in Okinawa. So my schedule was changing drastically, that I now have this almost full-time position on top of running my businesses, on top of trying to grow the work from home Millspo, on top of the cars and the regular house stuff and kids finishing school um, and the super meeting with the superintendent of schools. And that's a huge stressor, and finding out that housing wants to move us midway through my husband's command tour. It was just all of this stuff coming down on top of work. And I was like, I broke down. I was so overwhelmed. I sat in the kitchen and I just cried. And my husband was like, I don't understand why you're so frustrated. This is why you're working too much. The reason why you have the type of career that you do was so you could be flexible. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're telling me this right now. I got really frustrated with him. The reason being, yes, my job is flexible. Yes, my hours are flexible. I don't have to work 9 to 5. I don't even have to work every single day. But work has been so busy. We are growing and scaling, which he is a part of, that I have more work than I've ever had before. And now I was still being asked to maintain the same sort of primary house manager / caretaker responsibilities on top of all that. And I was like, I just need your help. Like, this isn't all the time. Not every week is it this crazy, but this week, these past 2 weeks really are insane for me. And I need some help. And so God love him. That next day, actually, Saturday, he took all the kids the entire day. So he took my daughter, she had a going away party. He took her birthday party. He took her to that. He took all the girls out shopping for a little bit to pick up some things that they needed, / wanted, because they're daddy's girls. So then they got a bunch of stuff they didn't actually need. They came home, they cleaned the entire house. Like, I sat here at my computer for 6 or 7 hours and they deep cleaned the entire house. They pulled out beds, they pulled out dressers, they pulled out bookshelves, cleaned behind them, organized, did a ton of stuff. He built a new desk for me, like all of these things, because I was like, I'm so overwhelmed. I need this help. I really I can't do this alone. But that didn't come like just overnight. It wasn't just that I had this conversation with him and said, this is what I need from you. This was years of me kind of building these boundaries and helping my family as a whole understand that this work is important to me. Yes, it's flexible. Yes, I can do it during hours that work for our family, but I'm still working. This is still a job. This is still a business that I'm running, and I need time to do it. I can't always do all of the things all of the time. Another example I have for this is where my husband had an appointment that I had to drive him home from. He couldn't drive home from it. And that morning, it was supposed to be canceled. So, or he was rescheduling it or something. I forget exactly what it was. But he called the clinic and they said, oh, we can take you right now. And so he said to them, okay, sure, I'll be in just a bit. And he didn't ask me first. And after he hung up the phone, I said, okay, I can take you, but you didn't ask me first. Like, I work, I have things on my to-do list that need to be done today. This is going to take a significant chunk of my day out of my time. Like, I just need you to ask me first if I have the time for this. So those are some of the things that, over time, I've had to kind of build those boundaries and build those conversations to say, I need, yes, I can. Oh, the trash people are here. I was like, what is that noise? Yes, I can make these shifts in my schedule. Yes, I can change things during my day to meet the needs of the family. But I also need that same level of respect back that, you understand that this is a job for me. And it happens with the kids too. During summer break, especially, we've only been on summer break for like a week. And my kids came to me yesterday and they're like, we're so bored. It's been pouring rain here. They can't go outside. I mean, I'm downpour rain. So they're bored out of their minds, which I'm all for boredom because I feel like boredom breeds creativity with kids, especially when they're at home and they have plenty of things to do. They end up finding things to do and creating, opportunities for themselves. So, they're coming to me and they're like, we're so bored. Can you take us to the exchange? Can you take us to RICOM? Can you take us, wherever? Asking me to do these things with them. And I had to have that conversation with them about, hey, yes, I want to do these things with you. Would I love to go to RICOM and go shopping, which is a mall here? Yeah, I would love to do that with you guys, but I can't right now because I have client deadlines and things that need to get done first. But let me tell you what, we can't do that today. We can't do RICOM today, or we can't do the beach today, but let's schedule it for next Monday. And so next Monday we're not going to the RICOM or the beach. We're going to do coral dyeing. So it's a traditional Japanese way of dyeing fabric. We're going down to do that with a group of people on Monday. And so that's kind of like, it's taking time out of my work day, but I scheduled my work week around being able to fit that in. So, having those boundaries with the kids, like, you can't come to me and tell me you're bored and expect me to stop what I'm doing and take you where you're asking to go. Like, that's just not possible for me where I am right now in my business. So having those conversations and setting those boundaries with the kids are really important, and with the family as a whole are really important. You have to sit down and have those conversations. And I had that conversation with them, but their kids, before summer even started, and said, listen, if you guys want something to do during the week, you just have to tell me ahead of time, hey, we would like to do this week, and I'll schedule it for my, throughout the week when a time works where I don't have client deadlines or I don't have meetings or whatever. But you can't come to me that day and say, we want to do this in 30 minutes. Like, I can't just stop what I'm doing and get up. So having those conversations and reminder conversations about those things are really important, and part of setting those boundaries when you're working at home with kids. Annabeth, like this boundary right now. Thank you. Is really important to do, because as a creative marketing virtual assistant, your schedule is flexible. It is available to do, to change your schedule. You don't have to be at your desk at certain times, but it is still a job. It is still client tasks that you have to get done. So it's really important for your family to understand that, yeah, I'm flexible, but I'm still working. Yes, I'm home, but I'm still working, so it can be kind of a little bit tricky to have that conversation, especially when you first start. I know for my family, whether I ran a preschool from home for 3 years or working remotely as a freelance writer or what I'm doing now, there were those tough conversations of both of us feeling frustrated. My husband and I feeling frustrated with one another. I was frustrated because I felt like I wasn't getting the time that I needed. I had these client tasks to get done, or these projects to get done, or lesson plans to do, and I wasn't able to do them. And he was frustrated because he felt as though I was prioritizing work over the family. And by having those conversations and saying, okay, no, I'm not prioritizing work over the family. I just have things to do, just like I have laundry to do sometimes, that it's important that I have those times to do those things. And I'm given the opportunities to complete those tasks, because if I don't, it's going to make me frustrated with you that I can't get them done. And you're going to get frustrated with me that I'm frustrated, and it's a snowball effect. So having those conversations are really important, but also having those schedules, like the summer guide that we have over at the Work From Home Millspo, the summer guide for working moms. It really takes away some of that mental load of what am I going to do with the kids? And we also have that mom guilt, right? Like, your kids are home for summer. You're not spending all of your time with them. You only have 18 summers with your kids. Wow, whatever you see on Instagram. You have that mom guilt of, oh, I'm not spending enough time with them. But by having a schedule like this, by saying, okay, hey, here's your daily schedule. Here's your daily task list. Here's what you need to get done to help me out. If you help me out and you do these things, you can do something that you like to do, like your electronics. And once a week, we're going to schedule time for us to do something together as a family for our summer break, or, reminding them that they can always go call a friend. My kids' friends live on different bases, so we have to drive there. Reminding them, hey, I'm happy to take you to a friend's house or have a friend come over here. All of that is totally fine, but here's your daily schedule. Here's your daily task list. What are we going to do this week as a family? Let's plan that out. Let's schedule that. So alleviate some of the mom guilt, alleviate some of the mental load of, what do you want for lunch today? Here's your menu. You don't have that. You just say, here's lunch, here's your snack, here's your breakfast, and you're ready to go, because all of that's kind of taken care of for you with this guide to relieve some of that mental load between being a mom and all of your regular work tasks and your house management tasks and all the things that you're trying to juggle, which I totally get, because I am you. I'm the military spouse. I'm the mom. I'm the working spouse, or the worker from home milspo. And I've been where you are. I am where you are. And I can totally understand and empathize with how difficult it is to set those boundaries, set those schedules, and make sure you're meeting the needs of your family, meeting the needs within the household, meeting the needs of your clients, and meeting your own personal needs. So that's why we have the summer guide there for you guys to kind of help alleviate some of that mental load. And, just a good reminder to, it's okay to have those conversations of, yes, I'm working. Yes, I'm available to family. Yes, I'm available to the kids, but I'm also working. So I do have these things that I need to accomplish too. And it's important for my own mental health to do these things. So having those conversations, setting those boundaries, and making everyone understand that this is not a me versus you thing. It's a we thing. This is a family thing, is really, really helpful. So if you guys have questions, or you want any other ideas on how to kind of set those boundaries, have those conversations, set a schedule with your kids, with your family, please let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. If you are interested in becoming a creative marketing virtual assistant and having this flexible, PCS-friendly remote career that you can do from anywhere with your kids home, check out the workfromhomemilspo.com, the wfhmilspo.com/courses, and check out our different membership options, which are affordable to any military spouse at any stage of her life. Just $30 a month. You can learn the different skills to become a creative marketing assistant, have this valuable community of ongoing training and resources, and a community of learners just like you, trying to balance their military life, their mom life, and working as a creative marketing virtual assistant. And if you are still not sure this is what you want to be doing, or if you're going to be good at it, or if you even like it, join us for our 4 days to become a VA webinar, completely free. In these 4 days, I'm going to be going over some of the most highest income earning tasks that creative marketing virtual assistants do. We're going to go through them just like I would within the course, as well as talk about how to get hired as a creative marketing virtual assistant. So it kind of gives you a good idea of what life looks like as a creative marketing VA. And you can decide if it's something you want to do. So let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next episode. My name is Lauren Lonsdale. I am the Work From Home Milspo, meeting military spouses where they're at. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we gave you some valuable insight into your work from home career as a military spouse. If you haven't already, we hope you join us over at the Work From Home Milspo membership, where you will learn the skills to become a creative marketing virtual assistant, as well as have the ongoing support of military spouses just like you, live trainings from me, and resources to use for yourself or your clients. Visit us at thewfhmilspo.com, as well as our virtual assistant agency made just for students, milspovirtualsolutions.com. And give me a follow on Instagram and TikTok to get more daily tips and information on remote work for military spouses. My name is Lauren Lonsdale, and